So, by the title, you know that we're going to be talking about Skillz Q3 earnings. It was kind of a mixed bag. I mean, there's a lot of great things to, be read in here, and there's some iffy things as well, and we're going to be covering it in this video right now. Hey guys, so if none of you guys know me already, my name's Tanner Manson. I'm a financial security advisor as my full-time job, but none of these stocks or topics that we talk about today are in any way my recommendation. This is just merely my opinion and what I choose to do with my own portfolio. Anyway, with that being said, obviously, I want to talk about Skillz. It's been an absolute roller coaster since earnings have come out, right? So before the earnings come out, stock's gone up 10% in anticipation of them. Then actually earnings get dropped, it drops 10%. It's like the day never even happened. But it really wasn't even that earth-shattering, I just think people were a little optimistic for something that wasn't even supposed to be a good quarter, right? Like it was Q3. We're talking about summer months here, like July, August, September. Not many people are getting into, mobile gaming during these times where they can go out and do things and, go back to concerts after COVID and everything like this. But regardless, we were still able to actually beat some of our previous numbers. In terms of revenue, we did $102.1 million, which was up 70% year over year. Gross profits were actually up to $94.4 million, which was actually up 66% year over year. A little bit of a difference from the actual, amount of revenue growth. Paying monthly active users actually passed the 500,000 mark, which was actually up 47% year over year. Now, their average revenue per paying monthly active user actually went from $57.84 in Q3 of 2020 to $66.82 in Q3 of 2021, an increase of 15.5% average revenue per each individual actual user. Now, onto a side that people probably are looking at a little bit, less fondly is that their cash actually went down to $540 million. And while still no debts, and this probably has to do mainly driven by some of their bigger, type of investments that they're doing with exit games, as well as a partial amount going into actually Arky. Now, Q3 was the official quarter that Big Buck Hunter was actually released, for which Andrew Paradise actually said that it at one point became the #1 game in the sports gaming genre. The performance of this game has actually brought up their monthly active users by 11% year over year, just on this one single game. Also in this quarter was the actual $50 million investment into exit games. So that's obviously going to help us with the Photon engine and helping us get into multiplayer synchronous games, for which there's actually big news on that. Listen to what Andrew Paradise actually said here. So we have begun implementing Exit's Photon engine technology onto the Skillz platform. In Q3, we completed initial developments to support 3 Photon games and have already identified several developers that plan to implement their Photon engine onto the Skillz platform. Developers can now easily take their existing Photon projects and add the Skillz SDK to it, or start a fresh game with both platforms simultaneously. Andrew Paradise also goes on to talk about another technology that they're actually working on, where he says the company has been continuing to advance its platform technology to allow player versus player sync games, PvP sync. For example, when Domino's Gold, which is one of their top performing games, has been on our platform since 2017, players previously were only able to play the exact same board at different times. After integrating our PvP sync technology, which includes many new features that enhance the engagement between players, the game's performance has increased dramatically. Now listen to this. This is the absolute best part. It is now a top game on the platform with revenue that has more than tripled over the past year. We plan to roll out our sync technology to more games on our platform. Oh my God, right? So this sync technology, once you have it, once you've developed these types of things, they don't cost a lot to start to implement. So this is really not going to be a hard project for them to start tripling the revenue on their games, for which, Domino's Gold has been a great example of. I mean, this is why I'm so bullish on this company, is because their ability to actually figure out how to make more money is just incredibly just trial and error, trial and error, and trial and error. And you know what? Wall Street is giving them this hard time because they're not figuring it out in the first quarter. Give them a couple of years to figure this out. You know what I mean? Like, the actual valuation for the company right now is perfectly valid. I don't think it's going to drop anything further than where it is today. It has no reason to. The valuation's not out of control. I think the earnings are doing quite well, still growing at 70% year over year growth. You're not going to be freaking out over that. Even if they are increasing the amount of sales and marketing, we'll talk about that. But even regardless, the integration with Arky and everything like that is going to lower those prices. So I think the price of the stock right now is fine. It's just a matter of things like this, okay? These new sync technologies that are going to be able to bring down the overall, well, not overall cost, but bring up the overall revenue and just increase how well we're actually doing with our products already, let alone bringing on new partners, for which also in Q3, they did several soft launches like Trivia Crack Payday, the latest installment of a world-renowned franchise available in 34 languages across more than 180 countries with over 45 million monthly active users. Okay, so we already knew Trivia Crack had their game coming out or whatever. I did not even know that it was 45 million monthly active users. Okay, so let's say, okay, from Trivia Crack, that's the amount of people that they bring over. How many of those people are going to give it a try and come over to this paid version? What is it going to be, 2%? Is it going 1%? Like, how low do you want to make the number to be? Because obviously they're not all going to come over. No one wants to gamble, all their money on trivia, but there is going to be a percentage of people, whether it's big or small number, I don't know, but let's say 1%, okay, of their 45 million monthly active users. That comes out to 450,000 new members. Currently, Skillz right now is doing a monthly active user base of 500,000. And now Trivia Crack Payday, this one game alone could double our monthly active users if Trivia Crack is able to convert 1% of their audience. So this is why I'm so excited. Like, these small things that we sort of seem to get, not directly on the quarters, right? Because it's the actual day of the news that they come out. Like, we knew that Trivia Crack was coming before this quarter came out. We knew Big Buck Hunter had all these, hundreds of thousands of downloads before this actually came out. This is not actually what is very, very exciting on the quarter. It's really just the numbers. Now, I already knew that the revenue was going to do well and the earnings per share is not, because they still obviously are going to have a high amount of sales and marketing, because that's the way that they know how to organically grow. CPI, or cost per install, had gone up for the rest of the advertising industry except for Skillz. Skillz has actually gone down in CPI. Now, this is extremely important because they are optimizing on how they're spending. They've got $540 million in cash and $0 in debt for a reason, to be able to spend it. So let them spend it, let them get, bigger penetration into this market before some other company comes in and scoops them up. I've got no problems with them spending, even if it was an increased amount from a year before. That's the only problem, right? Is sales and marketing was $114.5 million, up 56% year over year. Now, whenever we invested, for sales and marketing, this is drive growth and scale. This is what it's saying here. But sales and marketing was 110% of revenue. And this is a big part of why people are not so happy about the company and why it went down, but mainly because of their actual forecast for the rest of the year. So they said, now I'm going to quote Andrew Paradise when he says this, but the fourth quarter is typically a slower quarter for user growth due to seasonal highs in digital advertising prices, as consumer and e-commerce companies typically increase advertising around the holidays. We plan to be disciplined around UA marketing investment in Q4 and prepare for scaling in our investment in Q1 of 2022. Now, what that means is that revenue is going to go down in Q4, okay? If we're not spending this insane amount of sales and marketing and we're going to really be disciplined, well, then that's going to affect the actual revenue and the amount of, gross profits at the end of the day. But that still might not stop us from still organically growing and seeing what sort of numbers that looks like. If we're still able to even hold up partial growth compared to this without, a really, really large sales and marketing growth, it could be a good Q3. But the guidance for Q4. But the guidance for Q4 is going to be rough. But now this is where it takes being very disciplined and being very important as a long-term investor. He said Q1 of 2022. Now, the problem is that you're going to just have to wait, or at least I am. If I'm an investor in this company, I'm just going to have to wait the 3 months just to even begin, for Q1 to start happening, for which they will really start ramping up their scale. And that's the quarter that everyone should be excited for. Is that really exciting for everyone? No, but that's what we got to do right now, and that's what's going to happen. So I'm sticking around. I might even buy more if people continue to not be as bullish and want to keep it in this $11 range. I like this price target, so I'm going to probably double down during this time. Or if it even drops lower and hedge funds short it, I'm really going to be buying in. But yeah, a mixed bag of earnings, but nothing too scary. Definitely not going to get me to sell or anything like this. I'm still up a good amount on my investment since I even started making these videos for you guys. So anyways, if you guys like the video, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up and subscribe down below if you want to see more financial content just like this. Anyways, guys, that'll be all for today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Stay safe trading, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye now.